been playing the piano for 22 years. Self-taught, no music school, no formal lessons. Just me, a piano, YouTube videos, and a lot of hours trying to figure things out by ear. And if I had to start all over today, I wouldn't do what I did. Because the way I learned the piano kind of worked eventually, but it cost me years. And I also had a big problem, a problem that made it almost impossible to learn the piano. And I'll review what it was in a moment. But first, let me take you back. Just imagine this. It's Sunday morning, you barely slept, you've been up since 5 a.m. with this knot in your stomach that won't go away. And you walk into church early, the building is still quiet, you sit down at the piano and you run your fingers across the keys just to feel something familiar. People start coming in, the room fills up, chairs scraping, babies crying, someone is testing the mic, and then service starts. The prayer team finishes opening prayer, time for praise and worship. The singer steps up, closes their eyes, opens their mouth and starts. Now here's where everything falls apart, because you are the pianist. You are supposed to come in right now, this second, but you do not know the key. You don't. Your hands are hovering over the keys like they are afraid to land. Your heart is slamming against your chest. You can feel your shirt sticking to your back. 5 seconds. That's all you have. So you guess, you press a note. Wrong. You press another note and that sound cuts through the room like a scratch on glass. You see someone in the second row flinch. You try another note and it's wrong again. Now you are sliding your fingers across the keyboard, up, down, anywhere, like someone feeling for a door handle in pitch black room, and the whole time the singer is still going. The church is still listening, but they are not listening to the song anymore. They are listening to you fail. And by the time your fingers land on the right note, the song is over. People sit down, the pastor stands up, and you are sitting there staring at the keys, pretending you are adjusting something, but inside, something just cracked. Now you might be thinking, that's a bad day. Everyone has bad days, right? But what if I told you that wasn't a bad day? What if I told you it was every day, every single Sunday, every midweek service, every special program, that same panic, that same guessing, that same shame walking to your car afterwards for years? I need to tell you why. Because the reason is something I've never said publicly. I was tone deaf. When a singer sang a note, my brain could not tell what key it was. C sounded like F, F sounded like B flat. Every key sounded the same. So I built a cheat code. I asked singers during rehearsals to try different keys. Most of them liked F sharp. So every singer, every song, every Sunday, I played F sharp. It worked until a new singer walked up one Sunday. Someone I had never rehearsed with. They started singing in a completely different key, and I had nothing. Then came the moment I've never talked about publicly. My pastor had watched me struggle for months, and on this particular Sunday, he'd had enough. While the singer was still fighting through the song, I heard footsteps. I looked up. My pastor was walking across the platform, straight towards me. He placed both hands on my shoulders, draped his mantle all over me, and in front of the whole church, he prayed out loud, "Spirit of tone deafness, out!" I just wanted to disappear. Because here's what nobody in that room understood. I already knew I was broken. I could hear it was wrong. I just didn't know how to fix it. And that was the loneliest feeling in the world. After that, I started dreading Sundays. Not because I didn't love God, not because I didn't love the people, but because I knew what was waiting for me. That piano and another chance to fail, but I just couldn't quit. I was the only keyboard player the church had at that time, so I kept showing up and kept getting things wrong until slowly, through YouTube, through begging other pianists for help, through hours of practice, my ears started to open. And then one Sunday, a guest pastor visited our church. He didn't know me and I had never played for him before. But after service, he walked up to me and said 7 words I will never forget. I felt God's presence while you played. 22 years, tone deaf, embarrassed, almost quit, and then breakthrough. If I had to start all over, I would do 5 things differently, and those 5 things would have saved me at least 10 years. If you are self-taught, if you play in church, and if you've ever looked down at those keys and thought, I don't know what I'm doing, stay with me, because the first thing I'm about to share can change how you sound forever. And it starts with a story I haven't told yet. A story of how I even ended up at that piano in the first place. Point 1. Find your Patrick Love. I was about 11 years old. I walked into church one Sunday and something was different. No keyboard player, no bass player, just the drummer holding everything together. And I remember standing there looking at that empty keyboard stand, and something moved inside of me. Like a voice saying, that's yours. I made a promise to God right there and I said, Lord, if you help me learn this instrument, I will use it to bless your church. But I had nothing. No keyboard at home, no money for lessons, no YouTube back then, nothing. And then God sent me a man named Patrick Love. God bless him. After church one day, Patrick Love pulled me aside and said, come, let me show you something. He sat me down at the keyboard and showed me where middle C was. He showed me a basic chord shape, 3 or 4 sessions, and that's all I got. And then he was gone and I was on my own. But here's what I didn't understand until years later. Those 3 sessions from Patrick shaped everything that came after. Every chord I learned, every song I figured out, every Sunday I survived, it all traces back to those few minutes with someone who already knew the way. One conversation with the right person can save you 6 months of guessing. So here's what I want you to do, and this is not optional. If you're serious about getting better, find your Patrick Love. Someone in your church, in your city, or online who plays the way you want to play. Watch their hands, ask questions, be humble enough to say, I don't know yet, teach me. And if you genuinely cannot find a person, that's exactly why I built this channel. I'm here every week and I'm not going anywhere. But finding a mentor is only the first piece, because even with Patrick Love's help, I still couldn't hear, and that nearly destroyed me. Which brings me to the second thing, and honestly, this one is the most important of all the 5. Point 2, train your ear. You already hear what's not training my ear cost me. The wrong notes, the embarrassment, the pastor laying hands on me in front of the whole church. I don't need to go back there, but I need to tell you what happened next, because this is the part that actually changes everything. After the mantle, after the shame, after months of dreading Sundays, and I started praying for one thing, a keyboard. Not a fancy one, but not a professional one. Just something, anything I could practice at home. Because the biggest problem wasn't that I couldn't hear. It was that I had nowhere to train my ears. I had no money, but I prayed and I kept praying. Then one day, a neighbor of mine was preparing to travel abroad and he asked me to help him pack some boxes. So I went to his house, and as I walked into his living room, I saw it. An old toy keyboard sitting on the shelf, collecting dust. I tried to be casual, I asked, "Sir, do you know how to play?" He said no. It was for his children. They never used it. And then he looked at me and said, "Do you want it?" I said yes so fast I almost tripped over the word. That toy keyboard, a keyboard that nobody in that house wanted, became my biggest answer to prayer I had ever received. I took it home, and every single night I stood in the dark with that little piano and I practiced. I would play a note, I would sing it back, I would play another one. I tried to hear the difference between the notes. Night after night, most nights I couldn't tell if I was getting better, but I kept going. And slowly, like color coming back into a faded photograph, the notes started to separate. C started to sound different from F, F started sounding different from B flat, and my ear was waking up. I still have that toy keyboard in my studio today. It still works. And every time I take a look at it, I remember God doesn't always give you what you ask for the way you expect it. Sometimes He gives you a dusty toy keyboard from a neighbor's shelf, and that's enough. Now, I have a specific technique I use to finding the key by ear, and that I always want to show. I'll link that video in the description, so watch it after this one. It will change your Sunday mornings. But here's the lesson. Do not wait until you are embarrassed to start training your ear. Start today. Even 10 minutes a day of focused listening will build something in you that nobody can take away. And that brings me to the third thing, because training your ear alone works if you do it consistently. And this is where I messed up for years. Point 3. Build a daily practice habit. When I got that toy keyboard, I didn't have a plan, no lesson structure, no routine. I just showed up every night and played. And you know what? That was enough to start. But looking back, I wasted a lot of those nights playing the same things I already knew, nodding around, feeling busy, but not actually growing. So if I started over, here's exactly what I'll do. I'll pick one thing each week, just one. A chord, a fill, a bass pattern, a transition, and play it every single night until it lives in your hands, until you don't have to think about it, until it just comes. That's it. That's the whole secret. 20 focused minutes every day will help you become a better pianist than 4 hours once a week. Your fingers have memory, and your eyes have memory, and your ears have memory. And that memory is built through repetition, not through one marathon session that leaves you exhausted and confused. By Sunday, whatever you practiced all week will come out naturally. And that's when playing stops feeling like work and starts feeling like worship. And here's the thing a lot of people miss. It's not just about practicing more. It's about practicing the right things. And if you are playing piano, these are specific sounds that separate you from everyone else. Point 4. And this is where it gets fun. Learn gospel fills and licks early. Let me ask you something. Have you ever heard someone play piano in church and thought, why does their playing sound like that? What are they doing that I'm not? I used to ask these questions every single week because for a long time, I was playing the right chords, the right progressions. Technically, nothing was wrong, but something always felt missing. The music felt flat, like I was pressing buttons instead of making someone feel something. What was missing was the language of gospel piano. The fuse between these chords, the little runs at the end of the phrase, those moments that make someone in the congregation close their eyes and go somewhere deeper. I didn't learn those from textbook. I learned them the same way I learned everything else, by watching. YouTube became my classroom. KC, Kelvin Bond, Mike Burrell, Jason White. I would just watch them play, pause the video, go to my keyboard and try to copy exactly what I just saw. Then rewind, watch it again, try it again. And whenever I met a keyboard player in person, Moses, Joe Dizu, UK, Patrick Love, I wouldn't just say hello and walk away. I would ask them to show me one thing, one feel, one lick, one idea I can take home tonight. Those tiny exchanges built my playing as much as the video did, because when you see someone's hands move right in front of you, something clicks that the screen can't always give you. If I started over, I would start learning fills from month 1, not month 12, not after I felt ready, from day 1, because fills are not decorations, they are the voice of gospel. Start with 3 fills, learn them in one key, then move them to the next key. That alone will change how you sound this Sunday and every other Sunday. But even with fills, there was still one more thing missing. Something I didn't discover until I stumbled across a video that stopped me cold. Point 5. Learn chord substitutions early. I was on YouTube one night, probably 1 a.m. and I clicked on a video of Mike Burrell playing, and I heard a chord that made me put my phone down. It shouldn't have worked. The notes didn't make sense. It wasn't a chord I'd never seen or played, but it was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard on my piano. I rewound the video, watched his hands, I paused, I tried it on my keyboard. I got it wrong a few times, rewound again, tried again, and slowly it started to make sense. That was my introduction to chord substitutions, and it changed something about how I hear music. See, for a long time, I was stuck on basic chords. That's the 1, the 4, the 5, and those chords are solid, right? There's nothing wrong with them. But there comes a point where you sound like every other beginner in the room, where you know something is missing, but you can't really name it. Substitutions are what's missing. And here's what I love about how I learned them. I didn't just copy what Mike played. I started asking, why does that work? What is he doing? And by figuring it out, I made it mine, not Mike's sound, my sound. That's what substitution really gives you, not just better chords, a music identity. And when you have these options at your piano, you stop playing notes and start making decisions. That's when you stop sounding like a student and you start sounding like a musician. So you have to start with one substitution, just one. Learn to play it in C, take it to F, then G. By the time you have it in 3 keys, it will start showing up in your play. And the next time you play in church, someone will turn around and look at the piano and you will know why. So those are the 5 things. Find a mentor early. Train your ear from day one, build a daily practice habit, learn gospel feels as soon as possible, and start collecting chord substitution before you think you are ready.